Hi, welcome to another episode of Complacency Learning, the show that helps learners change their attitude towards learning for better. As always, I'm your host Ndibo Chibase, and today we are joined by an individual who helps people overcome the fear of public speaking through his YouTube channel, MasterTalk, all the way from Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Mr. Brenden Kumarasamy. Hi Brenden, welcome to today's episode. How are you doing today?
Very good, my friend. How about yourself?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. I won't lie to you. I'm happy. The weather's been good. There's nothing to really complain about. You just need to be so full of life. So before we start, can I just ask you to tell us a bit about yourself and also about the Master Talk as a founder, of which I believe is a podcast that helps people overcome the fear of public speaking. Am I correct?
You got it close. It's a YouTube channel, but yeah, I go
All
on a lot of podcasts too.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, you,
Right,
you got
awesome.
it.
Yeah. Yes,
You got
awesome.
it.
Yeah. So can you just tell us a bit about yourself and that as well, and what it is that you really do?
Yeah, of course. So like you said, I have a
Mm,
YouTube channel called MasterTalk
mm,
where I help people with their communication skills. And how I got started
mm,
was when I was in university, I used to do these things called case competitions.
mm,
Think of it like professional sports, but for nerds. So
mm,
other guys my age were playing football or
mm,
rugby or some other sport. Wasn't
mm,
really for me. So
mm,
what I did instead is I used that competitive spirit and
mm.
applied it to presentations. So for
Awesome.
3 years, I
Mm,
presented hundreds of times, coached dozens of people, got a
mm,
job in the corporate world. And then
mm,
I just asked myself a simple question: how can I add value to people?
mm,
That's when I
mm,
realized a lot of the communication content on YouTube was really bad. So I
mm,
started
mm,
Master Talk in my basement, and one thing
mm.
led to another, and the rest was history.
Wow. That's great, eh? That's great. So I know that, like obviously you had to overcome the fear of, speaking in public, as I believe that most of us are born with it, right? So now in doing so, before you actually went deep into helping people overcome the fear of public speaking, right? What is the one thing that you wish you had known before you actually started on that career?
Yeah, for sure, lots of things.
Mm,
I would say the biggest piece of advice I would have given myself
mm,
is understanding that the fastest way to master public speaking is
mm,
through one topic,
mm,
not
mm,
many. So
mm,
when you go to school, when you go to work, Indy,
mm,
you're doing all of these different presentations
mm,
and you're always switching all the time. So you're
mm,
not actually honing in on that one singular topic that makes you incredible, that makes you phenomenal as a
mm,
speaker.
mm,
What the best people in the world do, like Tony Robbins, he's been
mm,
presenting the same seminar for
mm,
40 years.
mm, mm,
That's the secret. That's what I really want us to push and understand here is
mm,
this idea
mm,
that by focusing on one presentation and one topic and presenting it over and over again, that's how
mm.
you truly become world class.
Wow, and I see also, Tony Robbins actually has a lot of followers, and actually he has like what you call this good references because he has helped, I believe, people who are actors now and actresses, people in different professions actually, and what they say about him is really good. And I've heard some of his actually talks, especially also on YouTube, and also in becoming the person that you are today, and also in mastering public speaking, right? Obviously there's things, there was challenges along the way. There were times that you felt like, you know what, I had failed, and there was times that you felt like, you know what, this is like a learning process. So what are the difficulties that you've experienced, and what did you do to overcome them?
Yeah, a bunch of difficulties. I think the first one was just me and with public speaking. I grew up in a city called Montreal in Canada, and French is the language where you need to learn it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know French, so my parents sent me to French school.
Mm, mm,
So I needed to learn the language, and I presented I gave all my presentations in French. I didn't even know
mm,
French. So
mm.
now obviously I speak it,
You
but that was
speak,
one of the
wow.
big, yeah, so that was one of the
Mm,
problems, the
mm,
challenges I had with public speaking
mm,
and why I'm so passionate about Indy. My
mm,
point
mm,
is if I
mm,
could master public speaking,
mm. So, hello?
yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Sorry. I thought maybe you're still talking. I thought I missed the last part or so.
No, it was
All
good. I
right.
was just saying that because
Mm,
I was presenting in French my
mm,
whole life, I
mm,
was presenting in a second language.
mm.
Right? So
Yeah,
because of that, I
mm,
struggled so much with communication, but I was
yeah.
able to overcome that. So
Mm.
you can too.
Mm. Wow, I believe it wasn't easy, hey, even to learn like a new language so you can like give that presentation. A lot of us are not even actually willing to learn languages. We're just like, what, we'll stick to the medium instruction. So now also for people that would like to pursue the same career as the one that you're in right now, what advice can you give them?
Right. So I would say two pieces of advice. One, if you
Mm,
want to be a professional speech coach, the
mm,
focus that you need to do is you
mm,
want to start coaching people for free. See if you like it.
mm, mm,
You
mm,
know what's fun about coaching is you know if you want to do this or not.
mm,
Because you just coach people for free. If you get them
mm,
results, then
mm,
you can
mm,
think about building a business. But if
mm,
you don't even like coaching people,
mm.
then you save some time, go do something else with your life.
Yeah.
And to be a YouTuber, what I would say is
Mm.
get a real job. And the
Mm.
reason I say that is YouTube will not make you a
Yeah.
lot of money at the beginning. You need
Mm,
to be invested for a
mm,
long period of time. Like
mm,
me, in my case,
mm,
even today, I don't make a lot of money from the YouTube channel. I'm only
mm.
starting to make a little bit now,
Yeah.
starting next month, but it's not
Yeah.
enough to feed my family, right?
Mm,
So the
mm,
trick is you need to think about it like a business. How do we
mm,
build this so
mm,
that in a few years it will
mm.
make back the ROI?
Wow, wow. And also, speaking of the resources that you've read, I see that also in one of your the videos that you've posted on YouTube, right? There's one that talks about the podcast that you've actually listened to that you actually recommend, and that's the one by Lewis House, The School of Greatness, Reid Hoffman's, which is the Masters of Scale, and Impact Theory by Tom Bilyeu. Right. So, are there any other resources that you've used along the way in becoming the person you are today?
Oh yeah, bunch of resources.
Mm,
But I'm happy to recommend one book that I think
mm,
people should read that really changed my life.
mm,
And the book
mm,
is called Thirst by Scott Harrison.
mm,
So Scott
mm,
Harrison is the CEO of Charity Water. It's a
mm,
nonprofit he started to help people gain
mm,
access to clean water. I think he's
mm,
really smart. I think the way that
mm,
he thinks about messaging and branding and storytelling
mm,
really shows in the
mm,
way that he's built his ginormous nonprofit. He's
mm.
probably raised hundreds of millions for the
Wow.
charity now.
Mm,
I just think he's somebody we want to follow and somebody you
mm,
want to read more about. And it's a book I've read more than once.
mm, mm. And also speaking of the books you've read, I saw that there's also other two that you've mentioned, which is 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. And then also you have Give and Take by Adam Grant. Is there anything that you would like to add to those books?
Yeah, absolutely. Those
Mm,
two are also
mm,
big books in my life.
mm,
0 to 1 really talks about this idea of how do you build a unique idea? How do you
mm,
build something important? And the
mm,
other book, Give and Take by Adam Graham, talks about this idea of what it means to give back to society and how
mm,
it benefits you. So, for example, this podcast, I don't get paid to be on the show.
mm,
It's
mm,
more
mm,
about
mm,
the give back. What can I give back to the community
mm,
so that in 7 years, in 13 years, in 17 years, somebody will come back to me who watched the show and say,
mm,
"Hey, Brenden, I became the president of this city
mm,
or this town because of the way you taught me how to speak." Right?
mm,
That's the legacy that we go for, and I think
mm.
Adam has a great story to tell in his book as well.
Yeah, awesome. It's actually a great initiative that you're taking out there because a lot of us are busy hiding. We don't want to come out and communicate to the world, and because of that, we don't have that voice that's needed to change the lives of others, right? So by doing so, I believe it's helping a lot of people, with myself included, for sure. Like I have to say that I really watch your videos online, hey? And
Thank you
then
so much.
now, awesome, awesome. So obviously now in this personal development, right? There's people that we look up to. Actually, they influence our decisions, right? And earlier on, you did mention Tony Robbins, so of which I believe that's one of the people that influence you. Right. So speaking of that, are there any other people who influenced you to become the person you are today?
Oh yeah, thousands of people for sure. Tony being one of them. I would say the other two is definitely Scott Harrison, the person I mentioned earlier. And if I had to give a third one, it would either be Gary Vaynerchuk or Seth Godin.
That's a very good one because I'm a fan of Gary as well. I do watch his videos. They actually motivate me. They push me. They actually give me the spirit, that energy that I need to start with the day. And also his quotes are quite good as actually. Right. So now about certain careers. People like to say different things. Like they would say, for example, as a teacher, you work only from maybe 8 to 3. Right. They don't know that as a teacher you need to to stay at night marking the papers and making sure that the lesson is planned in a way that is going to be delivered in such a way that learners do understand you, right? So what is it that people say about public speaking that you would like to expose the falseness of?
That's a good question. I would say the big thing most people get wrong about communication is that they have to is the significance of it. So for example, a lot of people think communication is just for presentations or presenting on camera. Not true. Communication is everything.
It is.
It's the
It
tough
is.
conversations you have with your family. It's the dinner conversation you have with your friends. It's the way you talk to the delivery guy who's giving you a package. Every interaction is communication. So understand that public speaking is not just about presenting on a stage, but about
Wow.
presenting your life in a way that makes it better, because you'll argue less, people will understand your vision and what you want out of life, and you'll attract the right people into your life.
Wow, that's actually great. That's great. So now, if there's one thing that I didn't ask you that you would love to, that you would have asked yourself, actually, if I should ask, is there one thing that you would have liked for me to ask you that I did not?
Yeah, I would say the one is probably, what's your biggest piece of advice to the world?
So yes, with that, considering that as a question, of which I believe is a good question, how do you actually answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to.
Yeah.
So the answer to the question is be insane or be the same. If you want to be like everyone else, that's totally fine. But the people who do something important with their lives, the people who do things that matter, are the people that are crazy. Don't you find it odd, indeed, that I started a YouTube channel at the age of 22 on public speaking tips on communication? Then I went on to. Is that weird? Shouldn't I have started a prank channel or a comedy channel or a vlog? Start on
No,
communication with the
I think
suit.
you're
Then
meant to do that, eh? Because I mean, you're very good at it. At the end of
right,
the
but
day, they say passion over what passion over everything. Actually,
right. But kind of
yeah,
let me conclude this,
yeah.
because that's great. You're right, but let me build on this. So then the year after, I started coaching people double my age. All my clients are C-level executives today,
Oh,
but I still live in my mother's basement. I'm literally talking to on a mattress. I
wow.
dance alone in my basement an hour a day. I karaoke in 8 different languages, and I love Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
How does any of this make any sense at all? And that, my friend, is the point. When every decision in your life matters to the only person that it should matter to, which is you, you'll probably succeed.
True.
So be insane or be the same.
And also speaking of that, there's a book that I've read by Robert T. Kiyosaki. I believe that most people know it. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Poor Dad, Rich Dad, or Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah, it's something
Yeah,
like that, right? So where he said, what, he even explained that, like not none of the things that I do make sense, but to him it makes sense, especially when he had to leave the job that was paying him like a lot more to the job that wasn't paying him as much as he would have expected, right? So to add to that, I think it's actually great that we do things that will make sense to other people, but really make sense to us, because at the end of the day, it's what we tend to excel in, right? So it's just crazy in this world that we live in, that we have to think on our toes and everything, right? So for those that would like to connect with you, how can they actually do that?
best way is definitely YouTube. All you got to do
YouTube.
is type MasterTalk in one
That's
word and
the
you'll find me
one.
right there.
All right, so I'll just put it at the bottom of the screen so that everybody can just see it. All right, so and also last question, learning this word, like it's something that, well, I usually say it's a process. It's not something that I can just say, you know what, now I've read one, two, three about public speaking, and now I feel like, you know what, I can just step out there and then just speak like I've done it before, right? So if I may ask, what does the word learning to you? What does it mean to you?
For me, learning means opening yourself to this idea that most of the knowledge is unavailable to you. So what does that mean? Because you don't know anything, it forces you to learn from everybody. Most of the insights for my YouTube channel come equally from 60-year-olds as they do from 6-year-olds. So for me, learning is not really a skill, but rather a process, a willingness to say, what is the lesson that I can learn from any type of situation? And that's why you see on my videos that I talk about a lot of weird stuff. I compare public speaking to dance, to trains, to puzzles. And it's because of my ability to always be nimble and always open my mind to different that I'm able to create new ways of thinking. So when you're thinking about learning, don't just absorb, but also reflect on what you're absorbing.
Wow. Wow, that's actually great, right? So, if I may ask, is there anything that you would like to add?
No, that's it actually. Thanks for
That's
having me. It was
it.
such a pleasure. Oh, but I
Well,
guess one thing I would say is if you have an idea worth sharing, understand that it is you because everyone has a great idea. The only thing left is to share it. And if the whole world shared their ideas, the world would be a better place.
wow, those are great words of inspiration.
Yeah,
That-
exactly. So that's my advice is go out there and share it. What else do you have to lose? I'm sure there's for me, as long as there's one person who likes what you care about, it's worth sharing. So go for it.
You never know how many lives you touch from what you do. Hey, you can impact a whole lot of lives actually. Right. So I just want to say to you, you know what? I believe that we live in a busy world, and thank you very much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to come and share with us everything. And I believe that our listeners, everybody is gonna find the information very valuable and apply it in their everyday lives and make sure that they actually become the people who they're supposed to be, because at the end of the day I believe this is what this podcast is about, help learners make informed career decisions. So with that information that you've shared with us, we believe that it's going to help a lot, and it's going to help them realize what lies ahead of them before they actually go for that career. And for that, I just want to say thank you very much again, and it's been an honor to have you actually.
Pleasure was mine, man. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, thanks a lot. And please do enjoy the rest of your, is it afternoon now or is it, because here it's actually night. We're going to
Yeah,
midnight.
it's oh wow, thanks for staying up for this. I really appreciate it.
No,
But yeah,
thanks a lot.
yeah, it's afternoon where I'm living now, so I still have a couple more hours, then I'll be done for today.
All right, awesome, awesome. Please do enjoy the rest of your day, and looking forward to a continued relationship, of course.
Please, of course, feel free to email me if you need anything, and wishing you a happy holiday season.
All right, thanks, and I'm wishing the same to you and your family.
Of course, thank you so much.
All right,
Have a great day.
all right, thanks a lot. You too.
Yeah,
Bye.
all the best.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you. If you have enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe so you are notified when a new episode is posted. Merry Christmas and a happy, prosperous New Year. Stay tuned for our next episode. And in doing so, please remember to put on your mask and also to sanitize your hands. Stay safe.